No, it certainly didn't. The question over whether this over-the-horizon radar caused the meltdown at Chernobyl is raised in the comments section of my videos all the time, and when you actually go into the detail, it's an absurd suggestion. As humans, we're good at finding blame in things. When bad things happen, we look for a reason. When we can't find a reason, we tend to make one fit. Sometimes we have the explanation, but it isn't always good enough, and again, we do our best to make something else fit. This is the case with the Chernobyl disaster and the association with the Duga 1 radar. This radar did not cause the meltdown at Chernobyl, and here's why. Firstly, in the interest of transparency and avoiding filler, there's 2 points I need to make that should answer this question before I go into any more detail. Firstly, the Duga 1 array that sits very close to Chernobyl is only a receiver, not a transmitter, so it never drew large amounts of power. Secondly, we know what caused the meltdown at Chernobyl. In extremely simple terms, design flaws and human error. A peculiarity of the design of the control rods caused a dramatic power surge as they were inserted into the reactor. A sudden surge of power during a reactor system's test destroyed Unit 4 of the nuclear power plant, a surge that was most definitely not caused by the Duga 1 radar drawing excessive power. The remains of the Duga 1 radar are located in the middle of the forest about 10 kilometers or 6 miles south of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It was maintained as one of the most secret facilities of the Cold War era, but now we know exactly what it was and what it did. At this point I'll mention my video series on the Duga system, the woodpecker, and more conspiracies and tales regarding this completely normal radar. A Sundance awarded 2015 documentary, Russian Woodpecker, goes deep into the Duga causing Chernobyl theory following Ukrainian artist Fyodor Alexandrovich's investigation into the causes of the Chernobyl tragedy. The Duga 1 radar plays a large role at the core of this conspiracy. Simply put, the radar installation near Chernobyl was allegedly built to create some sort of weapon, but it didn't work because of the northern lights and other factors. It was suggested that the failure of the Duga 1 radar was covered up by causing the accident at the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power station. None of the official reports on the accident mention the Duga 1 radar. None of them mention any kind of mysterious, unknown or unexplained factor that could have been wholly or partly responsible either. Another line of conversation is that the high levels of RF emitted by the Duga 1 radar somehow interfered with Chernobyl in such a way that it caused the disaster. Radar isn't good at penetrating things like thick steel and concrete buildings, or nearby nuclear reactors and their control rooms that are built with these materials. This isn't a design flaw, it's not supposed to penetrate them. The reflection that bounces off something like a large metal aircraft is exactly what the radar relies on to work. Let me again remind you that the Chernobyl Duga site is only the receiver. It never transmitted anything and therefore didn't emit any signals that could have interfered with the power station. Yes, the transmitting component of the Duga 1 array is only 31 miles northeast of the power station. It allegedly transmitted 10 megawatts and would have required a big electricity supply, but it wouldn't have caused any interference at Chernobyl that would have led to a disaster. If it had, it would have caused interference to any number of other things within the area as well. As for the surge theory, the plant consisted of 4 RBMK-1000 reactors, each capable of producing 1000 megawatts of electric power. The 4 together produced about 10% of Ukraine's electricity. In the grand scheme of things, the Duga transmitter was small fry. Chernobyl was more than capable of powering it, and it played its part in this for many years before the disaster. Finally, the incident at Chernobyl happened on the early morning of the 26th of April 1986, and the signal emanating from the Duga 1 radar, known as the famous Russian woodpecker, was heard up until 1989, long after the meltdown. Radio enthusiasts and official bodies continued directional tracing of the signal, which still appeared to come from the same location. So I hope all of this information helps finally answer the question I get bombarded with. Did the Duga radar cause the Chernobyl disaster? No,